Well, I'm so happy to see so many good Patriots here. How's everybody doing tonight? Today? Right? So the biggest thing I want to talk about is going to be America. Does everybody have a problem with America? Probably not. You're in this room, right? You love it? Why? Because you live here, right? Okay, that's why you love America, because you live here. It's common sense to love this country. It's your home. Those people out there, I typically ignore them entirely because they're pretty much ramen-eating soy boys. We don't have to worry about their future in America because we're going to build right past them and go right past them, okay? So what I want to talk about, a little bit of an introduction to myself, who the heck I am, and then we're going to go through my background, revolutionary patriotism, what the heck that means, and how do we keep America the best country in the world, because that's what it is right now. Does everybody agree America is the best country in the world? So my name's Joey Nations. You'll see me on the news. You'll see me all over Kaiser Fest right now. You'll see me hopefully everywhere in the coming year. I'm going to beat Kurt Schrader in 2020 for Congressional District 5. Now, the reason we're going to beat Kurt Schrader is because he's a long-term politician who's been there way too long and does not put American citizens first. In fact, he typically will put us last on every piece of legislation that he gets. Now, I'm a father. I have 2 young kids. They were with me in the parade today. You saw us surfing in the back of a truck together if you were there. That's why this country has to be put first. Who here has family? Who has children, grandchildren? Anybody here? Yes, okay. This is exactly why I'm here. My background as a father is the most important thing because I have a future to build for my children and I'm going to build it right here in Oregon. The background about myself that I want you to know is that I worked in a lobbying firm in Washington, D.C. and in Salt Lake City for years. And I saw the absolute worst sausage-making process that you all know exists in Washington, D.C., and at a young age. And so I was there during Obama's first term. I was there watching the corruption that was happening to this country, left and right. We were being sold down the river. And so we're talking about globalism. Does everybody know what globalism is? Okay? Yes, that is not good for our country. We need Americanism. So what I saw a lot of in Washington, D.C. and in Salt Lake City, Utah, the clientele that we had, the people we met with, the people we were fundraising for were all globalists. All of them were interested in one thing, cash. Cash is what dictated all of their actions. So as a young man, married, trying to earn my way, I'm seeing the worst part of American politics, the very worst. And I lived it, breathed it, saw it, worked in it. And I was so disgusted after 5+ years that I told my wife, honey, I can't do the 80-hour+ weeks anymore. I can't be part of the problem anymore. We have got to get out of this mess. And so we left that job and we started to look around for places that still had Second Amendment freedoms, that still had a balance in the political realm. And Oregon fit every single bill for us. 8 years ago now, we have lived here. Our children were born here in Salem. We love this town. We love this state. That's why we chose Oregon. You can have guns here still, thankfully. And the biggest thing at the time was the political balance. Now, in the time that we've been here, that political balance has disappeared. And so now we all see the Oregon that we once knew, whether you grew up here or you moved here 8 years ago like I did, you have seen, and guys, I love the babies. You can stay. It's okay. I really don't mind. Okay, all right, it's fine. So that is exactly why we moved here as a family. We wanted to raise our children in a place that was still Americana, and that is Oregon. People think that this is a leftist state, that we're a blue state. We're not. Does anybody here feel blue or do you feel red? Red, right? So that future that we hoped to build here, that's exactly why we came here, okay? My children being born here means that I'm going to fight for Oregon. They have a future here. We have a future here. My background, I want you to know, is the thing that I want to fix. What I saw is a problem. And so when I go to Washington, D.C., all the things I saw are the things I'm not going to do. I'm going to do the opposite of what the lobbyists are doing out there and what the politicians that are already out there are doing. So when I say the opposite, because they're all globalists, the opposite of that is America first. Does everybody here support America first? So America first in my mind, and I'm going to break that down for you, what that means, okay? It's not just a statement. President Trump has brought that to the forefront in our society, thank God. But America first is a set of mind, it's a set of priorities. When I go and look at any piece of legislation, I'm going to be considering, what does this do for the American citizen? What does this do for the American worker? What does this do for our economy? And is it stopping the deficit spending that's hurting so many Americans? We have to look at putting us first. That's the first thing I promise is priority. I will make sure that on every piece of legislation, I'm looking for those America first priorities, and if it doesn't fit those, it's gone. And having been in that world and worked in D.C. and worked with the lobbyists and know who these people are, they will fight tooth and nail to make sure America's not put first, but they're going to have the strongest battle they've ever had on their hands coming out of the West Coast. Because we're going to get endorsements all over. President Trump's going to support us, and we are going to kick Kurt Schrader the hell out in 2020. Is everybody ready? Now let me tell you, America first is common sense, right? That's pretty common sense stuff. I've told you about my background. Now I want to explain how we put America first through revolutionary patriotism, because America being the best country in the world, which is the topic of my speech, that can end so quickly. If you don't think that President Trump can do this by himself, okay, you've been kidding yourself so far. As president, he's doing it by himself. He's doing great. He's kicking more ass than all of us probably thought he would. But he doesn't have the right team backing him up in Congress. That's where 2020 has to happen. So America First priorities for me are pretty simple stuff. It's everything that's going to keep America the best country in the world. When we look at revolutionary patriotism that will keep America the best country, we look at the culture in America. Does everybody realize the cultural war has almost been entirely lost until President Trump stepped in and told these leftist, insane people that America's a great place and the people are great, and we're standing up for this country again. Does that make everybody feel good about that? Because if you weren't watching before, the news every night, the media, Hollywood, whoever it is, they're up there telling you America's bad. They want to divide our country. They want to divide it based on any kind of idea or any kind of difference between people they can. And so that's where we start, right there, the culture. We have to teach our kids to love America. My children are raised right. What I mean is that they love this country. I don't even care what your political party is. Now, I'm a big Republican, obviously, so I prefer that party. But I love everyone, whether you're a non-affiliated voter, a libertarian, independent, Democrat. We want you on the America First agenda. That's an easy one. And it starts with the culture. Wear your America clothes, wear your Make America Great Again hats. Don't be afraid to talk about the things you love about this country. That's what I want to do a little bit of right now, is speak about why I love America, why it's the best country in the world. American culture is the best. If you think all cultures are created equal, I would like to point out to you several countries: Venezuela, China, Cuba. Does anybody think American culture is inferior to those places? No. We have created the most free, the most liberty-loving, and the best armed country in the whole world. That is why our culture has to be upheld. We have built a society out of the wilderness. Hundreds of years ago, American Marines were fighting Muslims on the shores of Tripoli. If you don't know this country's history, strong, Christian, individual, rugged history, then you're missing out. I encourage you to go read, especially about Thomas Jefferson and the creating of the United States Marines and why that happened. It was to preserve our culture, to stop debt payments to Muslim sultans and to Muslim caliphs, and to make sure that Americans had a country to believe in and continue on with. Now, that background is hundreds of years ago, and we can continue that background by saying the American identity, we are a Christian country. Does that mean other people can't live here? No, not at all. But you have to realize where our country comes from. The Bible was instrumental in creating this country. The Lord Jesus Christ was instrumental in this country. If you don't believe that America is the land of honey and milk, I would advise you to check again, folks, because we have the absolute best culture in the world, and it's not new. It's hundreds of years old, and you have to preserve that. And everybody here in this room, it doesn't matter what your background is, what your personality is, what your identity is. You're an American. If you're a legal citizen, you're an American, act like it. So, the last thing that I want to end on is about stopping two things. Illegal immigration, because it's going to ruin the American culture, which makes our country the best in the world. The biggest thing I will do is work with Attorney General Barr to sue the heck out of Oregon for breaking the law. Sanctuary laws are against the Constitution. So we will get that solved. Now, I know I'm out of time, and I want to leave this for the Q&A as well. I want to get Americans' priorities straight. That means America first on the budget too. That means overseas, we bring our troops home. We start decreasing the amount of money that we're spending on foreign nations and foreign citizens. And I really just emphasize to folks, come talk to me, go to joeynations.com. Thank you for your time. I'll be here for questions. America's the best.
Yeah, I thought he made some good points about America. So thank you, Joey. All right.
Thank you.